Hi, here we are with the causal argument essay. Please note I said causal, not casual. I know there's always somebody who reads that as casual and says, what's a casual argument? I don't know. There is no casual argument. It's a causal argument. In other words, we really talk about cause and effect logic. Okay. So the causal argument essay is to be a minimum of 1,000 words in which you present and support an argument of causation as defined in Everything's an Argument, Chapter 11. So if you haven't read Chapter 11 yet, please do so. Your essay must cite a minimum of 6 outside sources, 4 of which originate in print or have print analogs. In other words, they're books, journals, newspapers, magazines, government reports, something that originally showed up in print or had a print analog, meaning it's in print and it's also available online. These sources must be presented in correct MLA fashion, which means 9th edition, with both parenthetical and text documentation and a works cited page. Dictionaries, encyclopedias, and other general reference works do not count as sources. 3 of your sources must be from scholarly sources, such as dissertations, journals, or scholarly books published by university presses. Okay, so we're kind of back to this. Remember, we did this in the argument of fact paper, and now we're doing it again in this argument. Okay, please remember that scholarly material is available to you through our library, especially JSTOR and EBSCOhost if you press the peer review only option on your EBSCOhost search. Google Scholar, if you're not familiar with Google Scholar, is also a source that many of my students use to get scholarly work. Ebooks are available through Mesa College, right, through our library. With the ebooks, you have to check who published them. A university press means it's published by, well, obviously a university. Oxford, Cambridge, University of Michigan, University of California. Those kind of institutions publish book-length research. That's what we're really talking about when we talk about university press. Now, the special addition to this particular assignment is the Works Consulted page. You must have a Works Consulted page with at least 2 sources. General reference works like encyclopedias and dictionaries may appear on that page. So the question is, what's the Works Consulted page? Well, works cited, okay, the works cited is for all the works that are literally used within the essay, right? They are cited in some way. They're quoted from, paraphrased from, you took a figure or a table from them, right? You somehow reference that material. That goes in the works cited page. Works Consulted is for works that you read, you looked at, they were relevant, and they were helpful, but they did not make it into your essay. At no point are they referenced in the essay. Okay, so these are called works consulted. You consulted these works, they helped you to understand the material, but ultimately you did not use them. Okay, I need to have at least 2 sources with that. That's where you can put your encyclopedias and dictionaries and so forth, but again, with the caveat that you did not actually use them in the essay. The topic will be a topic of your own choosing, as we always do. Just as a reminder, there are a few topics that are off limits: abortion, death penalty, child abuse, and religion. Certainly there are many other topics to choose from. You must also provide a word count of your essay at the end of your text. Do not include the name block, works cited, or works consulted in your word count. Now, you are to submit a rough draft for peer editing by Wednesday, July 27th, 11:59 p.m. This draft should be as full and complete as possible, meeting all the minimum standards required for the assignment. Now, the rough draft is to be submitted to your peer group and to me. So please remember, you have 2 submissions. You write 1 rough draft. It goes to me, of course, then it also goes to your peer group. Some of you are still a little lax on this. Peer editing of the rough drafts will need to be completed by Friday, July 29th, 11:59 p.m. Okay, so you have 2 days to read the rough drafts posted by your peers. Obviously, you don't do your own. Fill out a peer edit sheet for each of those other rough drafts. Those also are submitted twice. Back to your peer group, the same place and the same method that you used, okay, to do the rough drafts, and also send it to me. Now, please remember, the more work you put into the draft, the better your final draft will be. Right? If you just kind of throw something lame out there that you didn't really put a lot of effort in because you're saying, I'm going to really work on this later, then you don't get the feedback that you need and could be very, very helpful towards producing that best final draft. So do as much work into the rough as you can possibly do. Be sure to consult the out-of-class essay guidelines, which of course is online here on Canvas, and the MLA handouts that I've also provided for you, so that you avoid errors in presentation and style. After the peer editing session, well, it's not really a session, it's a day, couple days, you will need to revise and polish your essay and turn in the final draft, turn in the final draft on Monday, August the 1st at 11:59 p.m. No late essays will be accepted without a verified emergency or illness. Verified, okay? I've been hearing from a number of people about problems, but I'm not getting verification. That's not acceptable, okay? Everybody's got problems. Let's make sure it's something legit. Now, the minimum requirements for this assignment are at least 1,000 words. That is only your composition. Again, remember that does not include the works cited or works consulted. At least 6 sources, 4 of which originate in print. And then 3 of those sources are from scholarly works, such as dissertations, journals, or books published by University Press. Mla documentation for both in-text and works cited page. Please remember MLA is now in the 9th edition. Some of you are turning in materials that look like 6th edition MLA. And I attribute that to that's probably how you learned it in high school or something like that from a teacher who learned it when 6th edition was the most current edition or something like that. The truth is MLA has changed pretty significantly since then. I mean, back in the day, changes from one edition to the next were not significant, but the difference between the 6th and the 7th was very big, and the 7th and 8th was huge. Between 8 and 9 is not really very big. There's only some minor changes, so if you learn the 8th edition, you're going to be just fine with the 9th. But if you learn, if I'm marking you and saying, hey, this is old, this is 8th edition, or this is 6th edition, pay attention. You have some things you need to change, and do not turn in APA format. I'm getting some people doing that. Again, that has a downward effect on your overall grade. Okay, APA format is not acceptable. It's MLA. And please remember, our special little deal on this assignment is to create a works consulted list with at least 2 sources. By the way, just so you are on top of things, the works consulted page is a separate page that follows the works cited page. So you have your essay, then you have your works cited, then you have your works consulted. Okay. Please make sure that you watch the video that I created for the introduction to this module, because the causation essay it's very similar to the fact essay, but it's not exactly the same. That's why it's different, right? It has its own chapter in our textbook. And keep in mind also that a causation paper can go in one of 2 ways. You can go from cause to effects, right? Which is where you say what happened because of something. Or you can begin with an effect and go back to causes, which is when you're asking, why did something happen? Keep in mind that due to the relatively short length of our work, I only want you going in one direction. So please read Chapter 11 very carefully. Please watch the video introduction. Please take a look at the sample topic handouts that I have, because they are divided into cause to effect and effect to causes. Okay. And of course, obviously, you are free to choose other topics except for the ones that are on my perpetual forbidden list. Abortion, death penalty, child abuse, or religion. None of those. Good luck.